Okay. Squid Game season 2 off to a decent start. I wouldn't say the most exciting start in the world or the most appeasing start, but it's off to a decent start because now we get to see the new Gene Hun, if you will, the main character. If you don't know who that is, player 456 or 456, however you want to say it. If you're not, the type of person to say Hunter X Hunter, you say um, Hunter Hunter, et cetera, et cetera. Now, anyway, this episode didn't really come off till I would say this episode didn't really get you excited to really see what would happen later down the line of this season. And honestly, I would say that outside of a couple of moments that I liked and enjoyed, I feel like this wasn't a rewatchable episode. Like, this was just a passable episode that we just had to watch to get to, deeper in the season. And there's some things that I like and there's some things that I wouldn't say don't like, but just things that I don't give a shit about. Like, for example, the whole thing with Junho and his brother, aka the cop. I don't really care about that storyline. I I just don't really care about it. I don't really see what more juice they could really squeeze from that storyline that we haven't already seen in season 1. So, I'm just I'm just kind of over that storyline. And you can call me fickle all you want to, but it just there's nothing that really appeases me to that storyline, like I said. Um that and I guess you could call it like a, what do you call it? What do you call it? Like a plot hole maybe about how he survived or who helped him survive, because he was literally out in the middle of nowhere, and you're going to tell me that this random boat guy just came out of the blue, swept this nigga up when he was shot. You know what I'm saying? Like it and again, we're gonna see a couple of moments like this, but this for me kind of it kind of lessened the effect that season 1 had. And I know that they have to have more plot lines for season 2, and I know that they're going to try their best to have just as much of a cohesive season in season 2 that they had in season 1, which I don't think is possible. But yeah, I just don't care about anything with the cop nowadays. I didn't fully care about it back in season 1, but looking back on it, I can fondly say that it helped to add to the layers of Squid Game for season 1, but now it's like I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? The star of this episode, the highlight of the episode, I would say is I think his name is Mr. Kim. I could be wrong. That could be the old man's name. That and by the way, spoilers. I don't know if I put them up already, but spoilers ahead for this video. But yeah, the salesman, the recruiter that we've seen in episode 1 of season 1, I thought was the best part of this entire episode. To be completely honest with you. Um. Yeah, I that's pretty much the best way I could say it. I feel like he was the best part of this entire episode for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, with the whole bread and lottery thing, and not just that, but but yeah, pretty much, yeah, because him kind of offering the homeless people bread or a chance at the lottery. I don't know if that's something that he did, or if that's something that they want him to do. I don't know. So it'd be interesting to see if they actually had him do that or if he wanted to do that of his own volition. But either way, it made for, again, possibly the best scene in the entire show with him handing out bread and lottery to the homeless folk. And in a weird way, it kind of reminded me of Chainsaw Man, where the concept of the country mouse and the town mouse that was explained during the Rize arc, and how the country mouse is comfortable where he's at, and the town mouse always strives for more. And that's kind of what I thought of when I saw the bread and the lottery, where the lottery represents the town mouse, where the town mouse is always reaching for even more unattainable goals, like as time goes on, while the country mouse is comfortable where he's at and doesn't really want anything more. You know what I'm saying? And the bread represents the country mouse. So again, like it really reminded me of that concept from Chainsaw Man, and I really liked it. And again, the best part of this entire episode, I thought the last scene was, I guess, kind of played out. Well, I don't want to say played out because I enjoyed the recruiter and Ji Hun's interactions. It's just I kind of already, and I don't know if it's because I watched too much television, but I kind of already knew what was going to happen before it actually happened. I mean, who the fuck thinks Gene Hunt is gonna die in the first episode of season 2? I mean, let's be for real now. Um. So yeah. I guess you could say it was a fitting way for him to go, even though literally one, there was no reason at all for this game to happen outside of him being a nut job. Like, I wish like this game, like this Russian roulette game, would have had some meaning behind it, where if Gene Hun was to win, he could have gotten more answers, or possibly an invitation to get in the game, or et cetera, et cetera. But this game literally only happened because the guy's a lunatic, so we literally didn't get any like just no reason for this game happening whatsoever. It was just out of the blue. Fuck it, toss it up in the air, do something with it. I enjoyed the I believe his name is Mr. Kim, the old guy that died. I enjoyed the rock paper scissors -1 type shit. I thought that was really cool. Again, like one of the two scenes in this episode that I'd say you go back and watch, because the tension within that scene I thought was really good. And honestly, it was for a little bit. I honestly didn't really know who was gonna die in that situation. And then at first I thought he was gonna ask them for answers, but the guy's so fucking crazy that he literally just let it up to rock paper scissors to decide who gets to die and who gets to live. Like, it's just wild to me, bizarre even. I'm also kind of thinking now, like, why did he keep the young guy alive? The young guy that was working with Mr. Kim to find the recruiter. Like, wouldn't it have been better? And I know the guy's a nut job, so I might be just talking up to the clouds again. But wouldn't have been. I mean, usually from the annals of kidnapping and history and interrogations, I really thought the young guy would die too. Like, I thought it would have been savage if he was to just kill if Mr. Kim, who sacrificed his own life just to have the young guy live, just immediately, like his death is basically meaningless because the kid dies right afterwards, because the recruiter can't really leave any much of a trace. But I don't know. I don't know, man. Um. I know they had to give us some juice about the recruiter before he died, but I didn't really care. When he was talking about, oh, I had to kill my dad, and that's when I knew I was fit for the job, and et cetera, et cetera. Uh, you know, Okay, there we go. Phone wanted to sleep on me. Anyway, what was I saying? I thought the backstory or the mini backstory of the recruiter was kind of eh. Like as soon as we heard about him and the dad and how he had to, how he pulled the trigger and how he realized he was fit for the job, etc., etc. It's kind of played out. Kind of already knew what was going to happen up until that point. And again, like I said, it might be because I watched too much television and movies, but it was what it was. Already talked about Jun-Ho. I didn't. I feel like he was really boring this episode. I can't lie. He wasn't really a part of anything substantial. But I understand that they have to build shit up so that way we could get to the climactic points of season 2. You know, you gotta go low to, like, you gotta be low to get high, or whatever the phrase is. But I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, this was literally a decent episode that I probably will never go back and rewatch as, in full. And if it does ever cut on again, like, that's only because it'll be played as background music. But just background music for the sake of it. But if I had to rate this episode, I'd give it like a light 7, like a light 7 out of 10, to be honest with you. I was thinking about giving it a 7.5, but I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'd give it a solid 7. Like a solid 7, in between a light 7 and a high 7. I'd give it a solid 7. It was all right. It was okay. Nothing too bad about this episode. I feel like this episode played off well from the events of season 1. Again, like the new Gene Hun, about him, everything makes sense, everything is cohesive. How stone hearted he is now, how serious he is, how he doesn't smile, how he doesn't try to recollect about good people and bad people. This is the new Gene Hun, the Gene Hun that starts to accept reality. This dark reality that, he found out was real back when he, got into the game. But anyways, that's about it for me. I'll be going on to review the rest of the episodes, and have a good rest of your day, ladies and gentlemen. And peace.